There's so much. I know, seriously. Hey, it's Josephine from the Pointe shop. I'm at the Billy studio today and I shot with my baby girl, Petra. Petra won our model search back in 2018 and she was the youngest model we've ever had. Normally we have dancers that are around 15 or 16. Everyone just loved you. We did a point shoe fitting for Petra. I haven't fitted her in a couple years, although she's just been ordering the same shoe that I put her in. I didn't fit her very first pair of point shoes, but she brought them and it was hysterical because it was so tiny. She had a size 1.5. Look at how tiny this little shoe is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is a really hard shoe, Petra. How
this is harder.
Yeah, it is. That's a harder shoe than the shoe that you're wearing right now. When I first fitted Petra in point shoes, I gave her the softest, lightest shoe possible. She was even tinier than she is right now, so she didn't weigh anything. And a lot of times, your weight actually plays a big part in point shoe fitting because that's literally how much weight goes into your point shoes. She was kind of floating in her point shoes. Her first pair, for example, these are really hard, and she probably wasn't able to actually break down the shoe at all.
No.
Like, this is her shoe, but it's still, I can't even bend it. These are like, the shank is just brand new.
I had to change shoes because I outgrew them, not because I actually could bend them at all.
When I first fitted Petra, I put her in something that was very soft because she didn't have any weight on her to kind of push over the end of the box, and the shoe wouldn't bend for her. So she actually suffered a couple of injuries because she wasn't able to bend the shoe. What a lot of people don't know is that if the shoe is not working with your feet, it activates different types of muscles, and I really wanted her to use her foot muscles rather than her ankles, because what happens in a really hard shoe, for Petra at least, is she starts to strain her ankle because she's not using her feet at all. So when the shoe doesn't bend, and if you're not using your foot to kind of articulate, you start to overuse the back of your ankle. And that's when a lot of lower leg injuries happen, is because you're straining it so hard. So you want to make sure that you're in a shoe that you can both bend and articulate. Can you step up onto point for me?
Yep.
This is breaking really nicely for her. It breaks really high. This is the Capezio Kylie, and they tend to break really low on most people. For Petra, these are actually perfect because it's bending in a nice place. It doesn't bend too low, and it's really lightweight like her. So she doesn't have to strain. Can you go into parallel for me? And look how she darned. If you needed a little bit more help balancing because you need a little bit more of a platform, then you can always darn a little bit heavier. Sometimes I will give her a shoe that's a little bit harder just so she has a little bit more time in her point shoes, because I don't want her to break it right away. Let's go ahead and put one of these guys on. Can you step up onto point? This is very similar to the shoe that she is currently in right now, except it's just a little bit harder. She's still able to get over all the way, but she's not moving her foot as much as the Kylie. The upside to this shoe is that she is probably gonna make this shoe last a bit longer. Just for comparison purposes, I put her in a slightly harder shoe just for her to see how she feels. Her feet has gotten so much better since the first time I fitted her, so she looked great in those, but I still think that the softer shoe looked a little bit better. I want her to perform, audition, do anything else in the softer shoe because it makes her feet look prettier and it actually makes her work correctly. With dancers in training, I typically lean a little bit more towards softer shoes so they're able to actually have access to their foot muscles. If you're not getting all the way over on your point shoes, you're usually pulled back a little bit. Can you just bring your left foot up on point? So if you're pulled back a little bit like this, you're actually straining your ankle a little bit too much. So you should be over here so that you can actually be well aligned. So you're actually on top of the platform, preferably in the middle of your platform, and you're able to use your foot muscles in conjunction with your ankles. Alignment is really important when it comes to dancers in training, because if you're not well aligned in your point shoes, then you can injure yourself and it could teach you how to balance incorrectly. So that was very important for me to give Petra something that was very lightweight, that didn't have a lot of glue, and something that will put her right on top of the box.